guys? It's your boy 5150. It's Saturday night, and as you know, we had a good, decent little stretch of weather, and I was able to take the Zx14 out. Fortunately, I had to work this weekend, so it did limit my time just a little bit, and then I had family things going on. But in all, was able to make some footage and stuff to put in today's blog. I will be adding, and I just wanted to talk about 10 things that I do not like about the Gen 2 and the Gen 1 Zx14s. But this is mostly due to the Gen 2 Zx14s. As you know, Green Goblin is probably the #1 thing in my blogs right now. Do have some other things coming for this summer and this fall that I'll be adding on to the blog. But I'll be added on, then I'll probably be making another channel for that. But just stay tuned. Alright. Alright guys, now we're back focused on the Green Goblin. Alright, I'm gonna hit up on these 10 items, and they're not in any type of order. No dislikes higher than another. I just wrote them down, made notes and everything on how I didn't like them, which I think might need to be improved, and I just did it as it came. Alright, the first thing I have down is the oil pump system. The oil pump system on this, the Gen 2s and the Gen 1s, you would think after Gen 1 that Kawasaki would make some kind of changes in the Gen 2, especially it being the R, and improving the oil pump system. Alright, there's a cover plate that tends to flex under stress and cause engine failure. Well, you lose oil pressure, tend to spin a bearing, throw a rod. You know, this is catastrophic to the motor. You know, but Ryan Smith's from Smith's Performance, they have a kit that you can buy, and it's parts from different vendors and stuff that they put together to make improvements on the oil system. My bike has it, and those 3 items are the pump gear, that plate, and the pressure valve. Those things make dramatic improvements. It's like its own security. You know, it's your warrant. I wouldn't say warranty, but it's just fail-safe plan for these bikes. That's the first thing that if you get a Zx14, I highly suggest doing, especially if you're going to be riding it hard. Alright, and like I said, it's the gear, the plate, and the valve. Alright. Second thing I want to hit up on is the oil pan. Well, I changed my oil pan. I ended up getting Adams billet oil pan, and I got a billet oil filter, as you can see right there. Alright. Reason why that stock cast oil pan is like, it's garbage. I mean, I dislike it. The reason why, because you got the oil drain plug on the very bottom, and it hangs down. If you lower your bike or you ride passengers and all that stuff and go over a speed bump, you have the greatest potential of knocking that drain plug into the oil pan. And then next thing you know, you're losing all oil pressure and oil's leaking everywhere. Alright? I highly suggest either sending your oil pan out and getting it cut, and the drain plug relocated, or do what I did and get the billet. And that was number 2. Number 3 is that big bulky stock exhaust. Alright, if it was supposed to be the R, why would you add this big bulky 60-pound plus exhaust system on this bike? It weighs it down, makes it like 590 pounds or it's 500 plus, on a big end. You would want to put something lightweight titanium on it, from the stock form, instead of people have to go and getting all these other exhausts or these slip-ons. Number 3, the wheels. Alright, also, if it's supposed to be the sport, I know that from the Gen 1 to the Gen 2 they made the wheels a little bit lighter, but these wheels are not really sporty. Why wouldn't they put the same wheels that they have, or they have an option like they have for the Zx10 and the Zx10r? I definitely would have paid that extra pricing. They could have did a Zx14r and had the lightweight forged wheels like they have on the Zx10rr, or they could just did the R and did like a 3-spoke or even a 5-spoke setup, but something different than these, a little bit lighter, that equaled up to the weight of the Zx10 wheels. Because a lot of people, they're taking the Zx14 wheels off and swapping the Zx10 wheels. Some people even doing R1 wheels. It's supposed to be R, which is race, but we really didn't change anything on that setup. Next, it's the factory rear sets. As you can see, I changed mine and I got the Satos adjustables. Alright. Another thing, like I said, it's supposed to be an R, but we still got the same setup as a regular Zx14 Gen 1. This big bulky rear set with the rubber and stuff on it. It's not lightweight. We didn't lose any weight. It didn't put us in a more sportier position or anything. It's still the same, still sport touring. I really didn't like it. And if you ever took it off and weighed it, they're pretty heavy. They're like 3 times as heavier than these Satos that I have. I think that Kawasaki could definitely did better for that. Alright. Next, again, it's supposed to be a Type R. Zx14r comes with no stabilizer. So when you get your bike and you're riding and you're in high speeds and stuff like that, I really didn't notice at first, and then but it has just a slight wobble. Like with your hands on the steering wheel, you don't notice it. It was one day I was riding, I was doing about 60 miles per hour, and I happened to let go of the handlebars because something hit me on my chest, and it was just sitting there flopping around, and I was trying to keep it from getting in my helmet, so I went to grab it. As soon as I grabbed it, I felt the front end start wobbling. So natural reaction is to grab on the front, and then give it a little bit more gas so you get out of the speed wobbles. And that made me go home and go online, and I did some research and all that stuff and looked at stabilizers. Now, as I said once before in one of my blogs, I went with the FX Racing stabilizer. Now, I ended up getting off of Amazon, and that stabilizer setup was only like $83. And I looked at the Olin's, $600 something. Look at the Brox. The Brox is actually, I believe, the Olin's. Don't quote me on it, But they look hardly alike, It might just be some revalving in it to set up for a more aggressive drag bike setup. But those setups, and then you got your Scots, which is in the 500s, and then You got your GPRs, which are close to 400. Well, it's a drag bike. Even though I ride on the street right now, it's not my dedicated street bike, you know. So I just wanted something that's gonna kind of help me out when I take it to the track and all that stuff. So I went with the cheap boy, and I have no issues with it. It works. It well exceeds the abuse and the stuff that I expected to be able to handle, you know. But another thing, we're going on to the next item, is the quick shifter, and that's number 8. Why didn't, well, that's number 7. Why didn't they, if it was a R, put a quick shifter on the bike? You know, they went and put the slider clutch in, but they didn't even, they stopped. You know, it was like, oh, well, we'll just make it a little bit easier to shift, but we're just going to leave it there. You know, we're going to half R it. And now, the new R bikes, you know, you can get that option of the quick shifter. You know, Suzuki has it, Kawasaki has it, Honda has it. But for the Zx14s, unlike the 1000s, you don't have that quick shifter option. It would have been lovely to have that auto blimper quick shifter set up. You know, speaking, they wanted to make it more race approved for that race market. And then the next item, number 8, the bulky stock side mirrors. Alright, those things are huge. They're like, I guess about 6 pounds when I measured them. They're heavy, and they're big and bulky. And you would think they would have something just a little bit slimmer, a little bit shorter, you know, so it's not really in your way. Last weight, you know, I ended up taking mine off, and as you see, I got the block offs. And for my side view mirrors, I bought these for $3. They're $3 at AutoZone, and they work just as good. You know, I can't see like 20 feet behind me, but it covers my blind spots. You know, and like I said, I really don't drive this bike on the street like that. So, and after summer, I really don't plan on riding it on the street at all anymore. Alright. Number 9. The rear tire size. Alright, now, like I said, it's supposed to be a sport. It's an R's race. But we're still running this same 190/50 17. Alright. I think it at least should have been a 190/55 or a 250 in the rear. Well, even better yet, a 255/17 in the rear. With all that R&D that, you know, Kawasaki put in this bike, they neglected that. You know, the Zx10 has a 190/55/17, and that's just the R. And the track focus bike has a 190/55 also, their RR version. But with the Zx14, when we went to the Zx14r, they stuck to the 190/50. I'm just not happy with it. Alright. I don't know if anybody else feels the same. In my comments, leave me what you think about it, you know. I'll be sure to look at it and address it, you know. And number 10, the last thing that I know people had issues with is the factory upper stay. After 6 months of riding this bike, I think I maybe had like just under 900 miles on it. My front end started bouncing. As the front end started bouncing, I see my lights bouncing at nighttime. I broke 2 tabs, one on this side, one on the other side up front. And I was like, why the tabs break? You know, I'm like looking, and then I notice up here it broke too. So I was like, something's wrong. So I put the bike on stands and I lift the front up. While I was lifting the front of it up on the stand, the front fairing was moving. So I get in there and I start looking around. It's the two bolts that are back here. They end up coming loose. Alright. So I tighten it. The top one, I tighten the bottom. Put another 1,500 miles on the bike. So I'm back at, I guess, 2,400 miles. You know, I dose it, start doing it again. So this time I ended up pulling the bolt out, the top one, and I had something supporting it. And I looked. There's no Loctite on it. Now, Kawasaki, if you knew that this bolt is going to be supporting all this weight of this upper front, why wouldn't you put Loctite or anti-reversible bolt, you know, a locking bolt on them? Because there's nothing. Here's just a regular bolt with a stud going through. So I ended up putting blue Loctite on it, on the top one and the bottom. Ever since then, I hadn't had any problems. I mean, it's strong. You know, it's stiff. It don't move. But it already did its damage. And it did damage. And I had put a little bit lighter windscreen on it because it's smaller, thinner than the stock one. Took off the side view mirrors. That's lighter. You know, I put LED bulbs in it, which they're basically almost the same as the regular stock ones, just a little bit heavier. But both don't really weigh that much. But if you know that you get all this weight supported by two things, two bolts, why you would make that nut and that bolt have some kind of locking capability so it wouldn't back out, you know? So now I'm looking at getting new fairings. And I really don't want to get any fairings because these fairings are perfect. They have no scratches. But just two tabs are broke. So I'm holding off. You know, I got one of these tabs JB welded. Go ahead and bash me, I know. The other one, I hadn't even opened up that side yet. So I haven't touched it. The other side I opened it because, you know, the power commander's in that area. So when I'm working and stuff, I'm usually digging in that area. You know, I never have to open up the other side. But those are my 10 dislikes of the Gen 2, Gen 1 Zx14. Well, just don't leave yet, because I do have some footage and some clips of my rides over the weekend. And if you haven't liked this video, please do. If you have not subscribed, please do. I'm trying to up the quality of my videos. I got some GoPros in the workings of getting. They just recently went to the 6, and I was in the workings of getting the 5, and then the 6 comes out. So, you know, that's the things I want to do. I want to get 2. I want to get one from the rear, one for the front, and then this will be my helmet cam. But this is 5150, and you're looking at the Green Goblin.